welcome, welcome back, everybody, to the Control Your Epps-perience podcast, episode 12. I'm the namesake, your host, Alan Epps. Hoping that you guys have been controlling your Epps-perience in the everyday life. Picking up back home from my undisclosed location from last time. Um, yeah, that was an experience. I know it was 4 hours, but you're really robbing yourself if you haven't listened to it. Um, Great to catch up with my man Royce. And for those of you, I do apologize. I checked the listen on the way back. It's kind of hard when you move studios. It sounds cool when you do the sound check and everything, but I had to take my headphones off so that he could hear the sound effects. And I understand that, while we were vibing and everything, we were getting in and out of the mic. So I do apologize for any audio issues there, as well as it looks like I leaned on one of the Kill Bill sirens and you guys missed some of the content. But if you were so inclined, that video is up on YouTube. Again, it was long and I was late putting it up, and plus YouTube was tripping. So just a whole bunch, a lot of moving parts. But again, I'm trying my best to stay consistent for you guys. You can check out that part of audio if you missed it, or if you just want to see Royce's face. A lot of his communication is nonverbal, so you're in for a treat there. But anyway, getting back to what's going on now, first and foremost, I'm going to start off with saying a fond farewell and rest in peace to Alex Trebek, a titan of television. If you were born, if you were born in the 80s and even before that, we know him as the guy from Jeopardy, but he's been Mr. Game Show for the longest time. But, I get accused a lot of being a know-it-all, and plot twist, I don't. I don't even think I know everything. It's just I know a lot about a little, and what's more important is I know where to find more answers, like how to search and everything like that to defend myself. But I would say a big influence in why I am Mr. Johnny on the spot a lot of times, and I know a lot of random facts, is just because of quality time spent with my grandmother, God rest her soul, Ruby Lee Lyons, and just watching old people TV. So you got Murder She Wrote. I never really watched the soaps with her, but Murder She Wrote, Matlock, In the Heat of the Night, and of course Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, and stuff like that. And it blew me away that these people just knew so much random stuff about nothing that made any impact on their day to day. And it always struck me too that there were always white contestants on there, and they were doing well. So I always wanted to just know stuff. And I guess my brain is set up like that, that I'll absorb the most obscure fact about something, and it comes in handy. And I like to credit Alex Trebek and Jeopardy for that. So again, and you know what else is crazy? We just lost Sean Connery, and for those of you who may or may not watch SNL, there was always a skit where they did celebrities and how they would do on Jeopardy, and probably the best one out of all of them was when somebody was impersonating Sean Connery, and of course Will Ferrell was acting like Alex Trebek, and they would just go back and forth. And that's where I try to do that accent from. I think I did it on last podcast or the one before that. But that's also where my Twitter handle comes from, for those of you wondering. It's at DAPENIZMIGHTIER, which spells out to the pen is mightier, or the penis mightier with a Z. And that's because the gag you should really watch it. I'm not ruining it. It's great to watch. But the gag is that, Sean Connery is so aggressive, and he's got some kind of feud going with Alex Trebek for an unknown reason. But when he reads the categories of the questions, he just not necessarily mispronounces them, but he puts words together. So like therapist, or he'll split them out. So the category was like therapist, and he'd be like the rapist, or the category was the pen is mighty, and like the penis mightier. Yeah, so that's where that came from. That actually got me a lot of trouble when I was in the military. More to follow on my other military series on that. But all that to say, we lost a titan of TV and pop culture, and he fought the good fight with pancreatic cancer, I believe, and I wish that pain on no one. So I'm glad he's at peace. Again, I was traveling this past weekend, and I pretty much stay low key. One, because I'm poor, but two, just because Corona ain't going nowhere, no matter how fed up with it we are. But I had to travel this time, and people just really don't give a fuck about social distancing anymore. I was, traveling, and I was in line, and this shorty, literally shorty, she couldn't have been more than maybe 5 feet, maybe. That's being nice. Ivy parked from head to toe. She had on that green jumpsuit that a lot of you chicks were losing your mind over. And I don't know what kind of sneakers they were, but I do recognize they were expensive. They're like those kind of I didn't get too close on them because again, she was irritating me and she was too close. But they were like those kind of moon boot sneakers, that come real bubbly. And I know they cost money. I've seen other hype beats wearing them. I just don't know what they are. But anyway, the point is she put a lot of money in herself, and otherwise she would be cute. But I shouldn't know you're cute because she has a fucking mask up, and she's walking around with her mask below her nose, even below her mouth, and not observing the little circles on the ground, and just all up on me, fam. To the point where I mean, I felt her in my space, but I didn't know she was that close until literally the breath from her breathing out was disturbing the hairs on my arm. It was moving my arm hair, and I turned around. I didn't want to snap on her, and the first thing I did, I was like, "Who is it?" I looked down and I see the top of her head, and while the hair itself looked luxurious, I could see that little lacy screen door kind of thing, and I was instantly annoyed. And I let women be women. I don't care if women wear weaves or wigs or do whatever it is to make them feel like girls and feel like they look good. The operative word there is look good. And if you're my shorty, you also gotta smell and feel good. I don't want that Easter basket grass wig or weave, and I also don't want to pay for it. But all that to say, I'm not the guy who just be tearing women, especially sisters, apart for wearing weave or nails and stuff like that. But when you are already fucking up elsewhere, don't bait me. I kindly asked her to back up and get on the little the circle that represents 6 feet away, and she just got super pissy with me, and I just sat there flabbergasted, and thankfully the attendant jumped in before I could really get into it. But I was just like, I don't understand how chicks be having all this attitude when your wig does not match up with that level of sass. Like you need to be beyond reproach before you start talking to me crazy. Like I'm the wild one, number one, and number two, like you just like I won't tell you about yourself. Like it literally looked like the screen door. Like go put your hand up on the screen door and push. That was the top of her head. And the only reason I know about that shit, the closure and everything like that, is because of my friend Kylie. She's if you need wigs in the DMV, they cost, but they're quality. It's movie level shit. Holla at me. I'll put y'all in contact with her. Um, the Kiani collection on Instagram, I believe, is what it is. Free plug. She owes me. Anyway, the point is, I shouldn't be noticing this shit. Like I told you, I don't pay attention to how women. So when I can tell that your makeup, your nails, your hair are erroneous, that's how bad it is. So ladies, please, please, before you get smart with me or any other nigga, make sure your fucking wigs are together. Because if not, the gunshots will come. So, um, yeah, that's all I got on that. But in other, I guess this is kind of hair related. So I guess the Miss America pageant happened. I was never a pageant dude. My sister did pageants for a little bit, but I never really watched them. But Miss Mississippi won, and she's a sister, and her name is Asia or Ozzy. I'm assuming it's Asia. It's spelled Asya, Danielle Branch. And I looked at her. She's drop dead gorgeous. I didn't watch any of the question and answers and stuff like that. But shout out to what appears to be black girl magic. And I say that just because it became not apparent but suspected when I was giving her roses on Facebook, of which I'm in Facebook jail right now. I'll cover that when I'm done with Miss Mississippi. But I was giving her roses as not only being a black Miss America, but from Mississippi of all places. Who knew? Uh, Evidently she's a Trump supporter, and again, I told y'all about Republicans and Trump supporters are two different things to me, but I don't mind black Republicans slash conservatives. I mean, I have some serious qualms about you, but no more so than black Democrats. Um, Assuming that you live a lifestyle that makes sense, meaning you are not broke or anywhere near broke, that you're voting your financial interests, and maybe you drink a little Kool-Aid because you think you made it, and you're just one incident that I hope you live through to remind you just exactly what they think you. But that's neither here nor there. I understand that there are black conservatives, and I'm not going to call you a coon just for the sake of being conservative. But to be a Trump supporter, campaigning for Trump, you're believing in, yeah. And I didn't want to go looking for her shit because honestly, who cares? And I doubt that she won the pageant just because of that. Like, I'm sure she won it just off of being a beauty queen and probably had some intelligent answers that were non-political elsewhere and all that. So I'm not going to take away from that aspect of her black girl magic. But it forced me to go look. And a common motif amongst the black female Trump supporters, shout out Candace Owens' dry head ass, is exactly that. Their hair just be, they don't have black friends. They don't have black female friends. So their hair, they be going to the hair cuttery. They be letting these people put heat on it. They don't, and I sound like a whole bad bitch right now, but I'm team natural. Fuck y'all. Uh, the point is, their hair be tragic. So I'm like, but she's a beauty queen. So how bad can it be? I go look, and if you go zoom in on her pictures, yeah, you can see in the whole front section, it's starting to get a little sparse. All that heat and whatever not she puts on there. So I'm just gonna control my experience and not really give a damn. But you all noticing this. Hopefully she uses her platform responsibly, and Trump is a non-issue anyway because y'all got him out the paint. So we'll see how that goes. Veterans Day just passed, and for those of you who don't know, I am a veteran technically. I served 5 years active duty in the United States Air Force, much of which I was banished to the frozen north of Minot, North Dakota, as a nuclear missile officer. Don't ever go there, black people. There's nothing there for us. But I bring all that up to say, shout out to all my veterans near and far, for your service, whether you deployed in the war zone, stayed home, whatever it was. You signed your name to a dotted line, giving yourself over to the government, for better for worse, to defend them against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So that's something. Um, Specifically with black people in the military, especially with the social climate, I won't say now because it's been like this since ever, but especially now, I get a lot of questions about black people and why we join the military and stuff like that. So, also on the YouTube channel, I have started yet another playlist in conjunction with obviously the podcast episodes and my Black Gun Shit series where I talk about black people and guns. I'm starting one, and I've already posted a video about black people in the military. The first video is basically my outlook on being black and joining the military, and then two, kind of advice for anybody who is also black, who is considering the military and what they need to consider before signing their name anywhere. So from just, are you right for the military period, and how to choose a branch, stuff like that. More to follow. I say I am a veteran, but I'm no longer in the military, and that was not by my own choice. For all intents and purposes, although my purposes stay intense. I was kicked out / fired, whatever. I don't have a dishonorable discharge. I have a general discharge, but you're gonna have to stick to that series to find out exactly what happened to me. It's a long story, fraught with racism. So it'll be up on YouTube. I got nothing else to do, I guess, now since I'm in Facebook jail. But I'll be posting episodes. I'll try to break it out so that they're no more than 10 to 15 minutes each, and to give you guys the full breadth of that. So be sure to check that out. But enough about me. Let's get on some other nonsense. So John Gray, y'all recall he's a pastor of a megachurch, or I don't know how big his megachurch is, but I guess it qualifies as a megachurch. And he's a comedian by trade, but I mean, he found the Lord or whatever. But he's already been in the news several times for, cheating on his wife, and then he bought her a Lamborghini Urus, which is the SUV, the same SUV that Cardi B has, to, I guess, apologize or whatever. And then, there's always a big hullabaloo with these preachers when they make these exorbitant purchases. And on the one hand, it's like, all the saints come out, especially Fred's ass. Fred's my homeboy. But anyway, he, anytime they spend money, it's like, what, they can't enjoy nice things? And, I'm by no means a super Bible person. I mean, I do remember that they're supposed to live modest lifestyles, but hey, that book was written how long ago? Who knows? But the point is, I have complete and utter distrust for mega churches, and regular churches just have to prove themselves to me. That's not to say I disagree with religion or Christianity or anything, or spirituality or anything like that. Believe in who you want to believe in, worship how you want to. But that's not what we're talking about. When we get in these mega churches, at the end of the day, this is about money, okay? And a lot of these dudes are pimps in the pulpit, and they got to prove to me otherwise. So when I saw that this man just casually dropped, I think that truck goes for like $250,000. It might even be 400. I don't know. Hold on, let me Google it while I'm talking. But well, he just bought this truck for his wife, whatever. And they just got a house, and it's a mega church. And I just think about if what it would take for me to be a preacher, period. And if I'm a preacher and I have that kind of money, how am I not doing the work? And I'm not saying he doesn't do good work, but that's more work that can be done with that money for his flock, for his congregation, for the people in need. I'm not a preacher for a reason. In addition to being pretty much a heathen, I would like to spend my money. But I just wonder how he got this money because his comedy. I mean, he's all right, but he's not that funny. Um, and Fred, he assured me that he made all his money elsewhere, this, that, and the third. And I'm not an accountant. I don't care. That shit just looks funny in the light to me. You're a mega preacher and you're just throwing around money buying Lamborghinis, and we ain't gonna talk about Creflo Dollar ass and these airplanes and shit like that. So whatever. Um, so that was a while ago, and he got caught cheating. There was a hullabaloo. He somehow flipped it to getting more ratings. Whatever, more power to you, man. I don't care. That's your marriage. So I saw a tweet because evidently he was cheating again, and then and he was clarifying, oh, it's emotional cheating, which obviously this man just wants to be rich and enjoy his groupies, and which whatever. If you can't be rich and enjoy your groupies in America, where can you do it? But my problem is you call yourself a spiritual leader. Here we are. The MSRP for the Lamborghini Urus, and I'm assuming that there's different trim levels, but oh yes, with the Pearl capsule is $240,000. So there you go. Yeah, I mean, you want to be a rich philanderer, be a rich philanderer, but why are you tainting what many people believe in? But at the same time, I can't feel sorry for them because they keep giving your ass money. And then I saw a tweet that was like, wait a minute, John Gray cheating again? I thought that was old shit. That boy will lift his gut up for anybody. And I'm not trying to shame the fat boys because I'm one now, temporarily though. Lost 30 pounds. Fuck with your boy. But just the visual of having to move your gut out the way to get into some cheese. Shout out to the sister with that shot across the belly. I'm childish. Oh man, getting into our 0 days without white nonsense segment. So Dean Browning, don't expect any of you to know that name, but he was a county commissioner in Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. So some sort of local government. I don't know exactly what his duties were, and that's not important. What is important is that he got on these Twitter streets and cheddar bobbed himself. So he got into some kind of Twitter argument with some random user, and they got to talking about, I guess Obama's impact and everything like that. And then somebody got to arguing with him. Well, Obama did this, yada yada. And then in an inexplicable turn of events, he tweeted, and I quote, I'm reading it. I'm a black gay guy, and I can personally say that Obama did nothing for me. My life only changed a little bit, and it was for the worse. Everything is so much better under Trump, though. I feel respected, which I never do when Democrats are involved. And these tweets went out at 10:48 a.m. on November 10th, 2020. Now, mind you, I gave you a little background on Dean Browning, but I didn't say the elephant in the room, that he's an old white man, okay? And, long since anybody who's been on the internet arguing with these racists, we've long since suspected that these people have been getting burner accounts trying to act like black people to say this, that, and the third on like some counterintelligence stuff to undermine, Democrats, to big up Trump as if he's actually got African Americans wholesale in his pocket or whatever. So we knew that. But here's the issue. The man clearly forgot to switch to his burner account. And he tweeted it from his main account, which has a check mark. So that set up there, and of course the internet went nuts, and Twitter did their thing. And then I guess he tried to tweet through it, and eventually tried to claim that, oh, my bad, I meant to retweet it, but that was really just a quote because I was sent that by one of my black gay supporters, and those were his thoughts. I just, forgot the quotation marks, so I didn't press retweet with quote, whatever it may be. Bullshit, right? So I guess some hours went by after that, and Twitter was trying to get him to produce this black gay conservative who said it. And then this is where it started getting even more bizarre. All right, so a video was posted, and I'm actually going to play it so you guys can hear it. And if, depending on my editing skills, I'll do a picture-in-picture. I'm not promising you, though, but I'll do a picture-in-picture to put this dude's face up there. But here is audio from the alleged black gay conservative Trump supporter. I don't think it's working. Oh, there we go. That's why. Let's try that again.
Hey guys, my name is Dan Purdy, and I am indeed a gay black man. The message that you saw on Dean's Twitter was posted. I don't actually know how it was posted, but I did send it to him because I had a problem with how people of my race and sexual persuasion are treating Donald Trump. I don't have a problem with Donald Trump on those levels, and I don't understand why so many pretend to. Donald Trump has never done anything to hurt me, either as a gay man or as a black man, nor has he done anything to hurt anybody in the 4 years that he's been in office, because he hasn't had time to. So what's the big deal? I sent that message to Dean. Dean accidentally posted it somehow, and that's the end of the story. No, he's not a sock puppet. No, I'm not a bot. I hope you understand.
Yeah, so this dude's roly poly head ass. I really hope I can get the picture up here, but aside from that voice, like, where the what? Oh, he only had 4 years. 4 years is plenty. Okay, like I don't recall conservatives being this patient with Obama for 4 years of not fixing everything. 4 years, he ain't got no wall up. Shut up, nigga. Like, but let's say, all right, he's entitled to his opinion, however coontastic it is, right? Here, there's even another plot twist. So, Twitter being the FBI level analysts that they are, they Googled this dude's name and Dan Purdy, and they found that it was linked to another Twitter account called Soul Cookie 322. And you know how like on Twitter you got the at, so that's the at, but then the name, the alias that is attached to it, was for a guy named Pat Riarchy, which if you put it together is patriarchy, and White Goodman, which there it is. And then the avatars for that account are just this white guy, and he's tweeting from that same account. So now the suspicion is that the former commissioner just went ahead and hired some black dude to say this, that little weak milk toast ass disclaimer that yeah I sent it for damage control, which makes a lot of sense. But yet another plot twist. All right, this shit is getting out of hand. So Twitter said that this dude, and I'm looking at the picture, he really does. So I guess I really got to try to do the picture in picture. But they're saying that he looks just like another man who is posed up with Patti LaBelle. And that guy's name is William Holt, who evidently Patti LaBelle has adopted this guy as like I guess a nephew or somebody close to her. But he also goes by Bill, and Bill is spelled all kinds of fucktard, BYL. But the point is, Patti LaBelle is associated with this man who looks almost exactly like the dude in this video, but we don't know if it's actually him. Which is insane too, because Patti LaBelle is kind of like an icon from what I hear in the gay scene, between the lubes and just the fabulousness and the divaness. And if you know anything about Patti, she always wants to be dressed to the nines and have her people looking like that. So the fact that this dude could be that close to her. Oh, and that account that Soul Cookie 322, there's plenty of anti-feminist rhetoric on there. So that's crazy that Patti LaBelle would continue to. And again, I don't mean to speak on Miss Patti. I don't know her like that. Other than the fact that my great aunt Nona is one of the original members of Labelle, and they're still close. So that's all. I'm gonna leave it at that. But it just seems weird. There were so many twists and turns on this, and if this is this William Holt dude, where does he get off? You know what I mean? Yeah. The easy takeaway from this is that white people be whiting and forgetting to switch to their burner accounts, and you got caught with your pants down, which is a recurring theme in the media because that dude, Toobin. So I shot him a lot of bail either last week or the week before because if, for those of you who don't know or don't remember, didn't watch the last episodes, you disloyal bassets. He got fired because he was on a Zoom call with a bunch of other media colleagues, and then he thought he closed the Zoom call, but ended up started beating off, and the camera was on, right? And he got fired. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have got fired, but I mean, it sucks because it didn't seem like he was being like predatory or anything like that. But whole time, this man looks to be a whole monster, a whole monster. He officially got fired, I want to say yesterday or oh, it might have been 3 days ago. But another woman came on there and tweeted that she's tired of this victim narrative because evidently he has been all kinds of nasty in the office, and of course we just never heard about it. Let me see if I can find it. I had it on my Facebook, but it disappeared. Yeah, but the long and short of it is he got accused, or he's been accused of, oh, history of sex scandals. Here we go. All right, yeah. So they were trying to say that this is only about him getting kicked off for the obvious masturbating on camera and everything like that. But he's also done some other shit. He hasn't been sidelined for an accident. He's been suspended because he has subjected his colleagues to several incidents of sexual misconduct. Another one where there was a woman that he sexually harassed and told her he wanted to fist her and all this other stuff. And evidently he has a child with a woman that he had an affair with, that he worked with, and then he pressured her for an abortion. And then when she didn't get the abortion, she had the baby, and he has just not been a father and evidently refused to pay child support. So this man is a whole monster. This wasn't some innocent mistake. And yeah, fuck him. And anybody else who thinks this shit is okay. Again, I would have been happy with him. Not happy, but I would have understood him getting fired because you can't just be beaten down for work calls. Damn. Like, it would have been no different than if I had a part-time job and I got caught fucking in the broom closet. Like, yeah, you get fired for that. But it's not malicious and predatory. But you combine that with this other stuff, who's to say it was even an accident at this point? And even if it was, fuck you, dude. Like honestly and truly. Go home and be... I won't even say go home and be a family, man, because your family don't deserve to put up with you. Yeah. Just white people whiting all over the place. For those of you who don't know, there was a Stop the Steal... No, what was it called? It was... Oh. What was this march? It's who you think it is. These Trump supporters, Stop the Steal crowd, who have been crying on waxing poetic on Facebook about how the election was stolen and everything. But yeah, there was a MAGA march in D.C. Million MAGA march. That's why I try to banish that shit from my head, because how dare they? But anyway, where a bunch of people descended on D.C. Nowhere near a million, but of course, don't let that stop him. He's swearing that these were huge crowds. He even showed up for this shit. He stopped his golfing day to pull up on Saturday and be around these asshats walking all over the city. But nowhere near a million. But hey, since when do factual numbers count? Not in the election. And they're protesting the march, protesting the election results and everything like that. And the funny thing is, there are some black people out there. A friend of mine, shout out to La Doodlebug, she was in the city, I guess, covering it, and she took a picture of this black dude with this White Lives Matter shirt on with a white fist up. And from the picture, he looked kind of special at just the way he was walking and everything like that. And then I'm wondering, what if somebody just dressed, like one of his caretakers was white and dressed him like this, and who knows? But that's the state of DC right now. But I also saw a video of quite a few of them getting their asses beat. And that was refreshing. That's also why I stayed my ass in the house, because I don't need to charge right now. I don't have bad money. But I don't foresee anything else crazy. Like, this is the extent. I mean, maybe somebody will burn some houses. I don't think it's going to happen in D.C. But from what I understand, there's really no legal foot to stand on for the Trump campaign to further challenge it. But the real concern is, he's fired his Secretary of Defense, and some other key defense personnel have resigned. So he's got little less than 3 months. So I think it was like 70 days. To do all kinds of nonsense as far as military moves through executive action, possibly starting a war, who knows. Hopefully he will, at least before he leaves, do something useful and sign the federal reciprocity for concealed carry, so that one concealed carry permit for whatever state is good anywhere. But yeah, he's also not really inclined to do any work, because for those of you who haven't been paying attention, there's going to be a senatorial runoff in Georgia, which is going to have major implications on the Senate and what Joe Biden is able to get through legislatively. So if you're in Georgia and you're a registered voter, make sure you fucking vote, especially if you voted for Biden, because if you want him to be able to get anything done, he's going to need those seats. But the crazy thing is, if Trump was actually a Republican and gung ho for the party, he would be campaigning because there's a lot of people in Georgia, I guess, looking to the president to endorse these people because that's the only reason there's a runoff. Um, One of the senatorial races was very, 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 very close. The Republican candidate had a slight edge, but in Georgia, you have to win at least 50% of the vote, or they have to go to a runoff for special election. The other one, though, a Democrat, he's a pastor, I believe, he convincingly won. He just didn't get the 50%, but the incumbent Republican, it was a lady, I don't know her name, fuck her, she's an imbecile. But he beat her by almost I believe it was 7 or 8 points. And the other crazy thing is, there was a Republican candidate running against her. So you have the incumbent Republican, then you have another Republican who got a decent showing, and then the black pastor Democrat who got more than both of them by convincing margins. But because of Georgia's rules, got to go to a runoff. So you would think that in those highly contested races that Trump would try to energize his base and the voters in Georgia come back out because runoff elections and special elections historically have a very, 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 very low turnout. But considering the implications of this one, that he would be behind getting those seats. Trump can't be bothered. Like, he's golfing, he's going to his march, he's tweeting about how he's not conceding because the election was stolen from him. So, yeah, who knows what's going to happen there. And you know who else can't be bothered? Mike fucking Pence, because all over the news has come out how more and more Republican officials are saying, yes, Biden is the president-elect, he needs to be brought in on intelligence for the smooth transition, and Trump is raging against them in Fox News for calling the election, even though in his mind it's nowhere near over. And but we ain't heard shit out of Mike Pence. In fact, the only thing he even broke his silence to say was he tried to take credit for, because evidently Pfizer thinks that they are very close to a fieldable vaccine. And then the Pence came on there, was like, yeah, we made that possible working with Pfizer. And then Pfizer quickly said, no, bitch, we did this on our own. Fuck you. But that's it. And that just sounds like somebody who is anxious to get off the clock, to disassociate with Trump, and to get back and try to salvage his Republican career. Yeah. But that's the state of America's ghetto-ass political landscape right now. Yeah, more to follow as it develops. I think it's funny, though, that these same people who are crying on Facebook and marching on DC and everything, they went and I guess started either a new social media or they decided on this one must not have been all that popular, but they're moving there. So it's called Parler, Parler. I believe it's named after the creator of it. But I just want to know, black people, are we going to go over there and haze them once this is all over? Because I know I am. Oh, they getting all these shots. They getting all these shots. Because right now, they've robbed me of that joy. Like, I said I was going to go troll in those Stop the Steal groups that are getting deleted by Facebook, but I actually got kicked out before I could. But I didn't even go in on anybody. All I did was ask because they're literally grasping at straws. These are hardcore Republicans who not only are now saying fuck Fox News, which is hilarious, but they are clinging to any piece of news media that seems favorable to them, no matter who it comes from, because they hate CNN. It's the liberal media. But they were posting charts about how, oh, even CNN saying that Georgia's being contested and Arizona's being contested. I'm like, and all I asked was, since when do folks trust the liberal media? And then I got kicked out the group because they're allergic to sense. So it's sad because this is like, I like my race is easily identified, and I'm not a bully. Well, yeah, I am, but not. I don't take joy in it. But to see how pathetic they are, literally the tears, the hopelessness, the crying, I'm just like, this ain't even fun no more. Just like that scene in Walking Dead when Carol had to put the little girl down and just told her to look at the flowers. Like, that's how I feel now, instead of giving them these shots and making them feel me. But when that's over, I'm going to Parliament to do so until I get banned. So I invite y'all there. Yeah. So moving on with the political, this is more so off the Trump charge, but more so with black people and moving forward. So in case you haven't noticed, Biden is moving forward, trying to name to his staff. I believe he named his White House chief of staff. Forgot his name. It's not really important. Some white dude, but it was a guy who used to work with him before, so it makes sense that he named him his chief of staff. However, there have been some names floating around as far as high-end cabinet positions. Not necessarily, he hasn't said what cabinet positions, but he's floating this around. And if you recall, if you've been listening to any Biden speeches, he's talking about, you know, not viewing our opposition as our enemy. We need to come together, work across the aisle, which is sounds very presidential and everything, but what does that actually fucking mean? So right now, there are three major names that have been floated around. The first one is Governor Kasich of Ohio, former Governor Kasich, who did his best to try and flip Ohio for the Democrats because he's been long broken from the Trump campaign as a high. He was probably the highest profile Republican official who was rallying Republicans to vote against Donald Trump. So I'm sure that came as a quid pro quo. Hey, I need a place in your administration because I'm going to burn a lot of Republican bridges. But as somebody who won based off of the progressive vote, as somebody who won because of progressive who felt they had no choice but to vote Democrat, even though he's not a progressive, it's interesting to me that he's willing to put a Republican, somebody who has been against progress, on his cabinet. So just that's not me telling you I told you so yet, because he hasn't even taken office yet, but this is me helping you all who told me you're going to hold Biden accountable, keeping you informed, to let you know what moves are being made. The next name is Meg Whitman. Meg Whitman was the former CEO of Hewlett Packard, okay, and Quibi. And that's what really made me raise my eyebrow. For those of you who don't know, Quibi was supposed to be the next big social media platform, but not really social media, just kind of like content platform. It's where they give you short clips of content that you pay for a subscription that you can't get anywhere else. Quick hitter episodes that you could watch. I guess this was geared towards people who use public transit or just, whatever. But the long and short of it is Quibi was solvent for less than 6 months before it just ended. And they spent $1.7 billion. And then now it's gone, wasted. From what I understand, a lot of that money went to licensing content from established stars and stuff like that. And this is all derivative of the JBP because I got most of my information on Quibi from them. But the long and short of it is that they couldn't get people to subscribe, and I guess they paid all these people for established stars for their content, but nobody wanted to buy it because the advertising wasn't there. People weren't getting free samples of it to see what it was like, and I do believe that the streaming itself wasn't the best. It kept crashing. But the point is, she was the CEO of that, and now she's about to get some important position in Biden's cabinet, a white woman. Okay? And then the last one is Susan Molinari, a Republican journalist and former congressman in the House of Representatives in Staten Island. For those of you who don't know anything about Staten Island is widely accepted as the most racist borough in New York to this day, not just historically, to this day. And she's a white Republican female from there. And yeah, she's getting looked at for a cabinet position. So just keep that in mind for those of you who swear you're going to have to push Biden left. I don't know how you're going to do it when this cabinet's in his ear, but good luck. And black people controlling their experience in real life. There's been rumors, and again, because I haven't looked at any official documents or anything, but there's a meme, and it's gone around. There's been retweeted by enough people that I think there's at least some validity to it. So DC Young Fly of Vine fame and of course Wildin' Out, evidently him and the I85 South crew. So that's him, Carlos. I forgot the other dude's name. Viacom, in typical Viacom move, wants Wildin' Out to come back because Wildin' Out was a cash cow for them. But of course, Nick Cannon's Nick Cannon, and it's his product, and he angered the whites, and rightfully so, because Nick Cannon went on this whole rabbit hole. But I don't think he should have been fired. But that's what I'm not getting into that. The whole point is Viacom's trying to do their scab tactics and get the funniest people from his act to bring back Wildin' Out in their name. And DC Young Fly said, fuck y'all, as well as the rest of the I85 South crew. Which I commend, because we got. Black people need to stick together. Now, here's where it gets kind of weird, because, again, I haven't seen any official documents. I'm not in these board meetings. But and I haven't seen an official statement from DC Young Fly or any of the others, official Twitter, saying that they were offered 8 figures to do this show again. And again, I don't know what amount of money you could put on your soul. I mean, we saw Dave Chappelle walk away from $1 kajillion because it wasn't right with him at the height of his Chappelle Show career. So I'm not going to knock them for that. But there's a lot of people there's a lot of mixed reactions to that, and I understand both. I'm not trying to ridicule either, but at the end of the day, you gotta say what's valuable to you and what your principles are. There are many people who feel that not only are they crazy from a personal standpoint, 8 figures, but that 8 figures could have been used to put other black people on. And if Nick was a real friend, he would have told them to take it because they could have continued his work there and he could have done something else and they could have brought him into the back door as a guest. I don't know. All kinds of gymnastics, whatever. But on the other hand, I feel like, yeah, like at what point does the money don't matter? How much are your principles worth? And the way DC Young Fly explained it, like this man gave him an opportunity he wouldn't be anywhere without him, and he's not going to cross that man. So there's loyalty, and that sounds good, but at the same time, let's get away from the personal loyalty because some people say, oh, you can be loyal and to a toxic fault. That's true. Let's stop acting like Viacom isn't one of the most destructive forces to Black America that there is, because we see what happened once they bought BET. Okay, the news went away. Shout out Jackie Reed, I believe that was her name. But the news went away. We got nothing but Comic View, and the Comic View got trashed, and then this baby boy almost 24/7. All right, so Viacom, people call all the black channels UPN. I don't even know if UPN is still a TV channel. UPN, BET, VH1. All the teachers, the channels that feature heavy black content. Those are not black channels, and they spin a narrative that is seen internationally, which helps poison perceptions of black people in Black America. Viacom is the fucking enemy. We are just forced to play ball with them. Okay? And who was that billionaire that was suing Viacom and everybody else? Billionaire. It was Byron sues Comcast. Here. Byron Allen. Yeah. He was suing Comcast and everything, but if you don't think Viacom, is another one of those people who try to, he said, you're only going to use our media to promote the image that we want, and there's only going to be a select few of you that we can control to do so. All right? So Viacom is, in fact, the enemy. So from that standpoint, I rock with DC Young Fly 100%, and I don't know what the number was. It would have had to been substantial, in my mind, at least Nick's salary. But, yeah, I mean, some people can't be bought, some things can't be bought. And I fucks with it. And if you think that he should have done it, you can't tell me you wouldn't fuck Future. Don't ask me why. It just makes sense. Yeah. Let me see here. So the Versuz news. So originally there was supposed to be a Versuz against Young Jeezy and T.I. because T.I. has been acting like he wants to smoke from 50. 50 said nah, which I would have liked to see just from not from a music appreciation, because really I don't think of them in the same light, but because the argument had gotten on who's gonna watch who, and I did a mock battle with my boy, I still think 50 wins it, but just barely, and only in 20 tracks. Any more than that, his catalog gets too thin. But that went away, and Tip was on 50 head, like, oh, I want you, I want you, I want you, I want you. Like, same kind of niggas who, like, Ohio State, we want Bama, we want Bama. No, you don't. But then eventually, Busta Rhymes into the chat and was like, all right, fam, let's do it. And then T.I. was like, nah, the age gap, which was some bitch ass shit, because at the end of the day, you want the smoke, go get the smoke. But at the same time, Busta Rhymes got too many classics, too many bangers. I think Busta Rhymes washes T.I. But then T.I. took the battle with Jeezy. So everybody was like, you're going to win this because while Jeezy has some records, that's not disrespect to Jeezy. Jeezy is way more niche. And like, if you don't like 50 because you think 50 was niche and 50 had crossover, Jeezy is even way more niche than 50, and it's the same genre. So they both got tracks, but T.I.'s bag is too diversified. No, I don't. It was just I don't think that would have been a good battle at all. But if you guys have been following Versuz at all, the marketing behind this is amazing, and I'm pretty sure that was never even a real battle so much as a precursor to try and gen up appreciation for what we're actually going to get. So evidently, it's going to be Jeezy versus Guwap, which makes, and that's Gucci Man for all of you non-trap rap listeners, Which makes a ton of sense because that's real life. I mean, they were battling on music airways. They both came out around the same time. They're both from Atlanta, fighting to be the voice of Atlanta, and evidently they've tried to kill each other a couple times. Yeah, allegedly. So that's why for the longest time nobody thought this was gonna happen because I mean, how do you just go kiki with somebody who sent a hit at you, whatever? But I mean, Bounty Killer and Beanie Man did it, and I didn't even know them Jamaican niggas was beefing like that. Like I mean, I've seen shotters, I know Jamaicans get it in, but I thought that the dance hall niggas was cool. Guess not. But so I'm excited for that just because it's era appropriate and it will settle arguments that I had while because for those of you who don't know, I went to Tuskegee University. I was a freshman in 2003, so I was there for the early Gucci and Jeezy mixtapes and everything, and I watched them become who they were. And a lot of people forget that while Gucci is a pretty decent rapper now and he makes quality music, album and otherwise, when Gucci first came out, he was hard to listen to. At least if you care about lyrics and delivery and all that stuff. Now the beats were fucking ridiculous, okay? Like we lived in the club when I was in undergrad, but listening to this man talk, the words, the lisp, the delivery, the lack of thereof, he was just talking nonsense. It was night and day between the quality of him and Jeezy. Never mind, oh, if you real, you're a street nigga, speak to you. Shut up, nigga, you in college. But Jeezy has always made better music to me until he stopped making music, and then Gucci was Gucci, which is fine. But I have Jeezy rinsing Gucci Mane in this in 20 tracks. Get the fuck out of here. Thug Motivation 101 itself, nothing but classics. Trapper Die mixtape, nothing but classics. And it's funny because I'm in Facebook jail, so I won't be able to bring this shit up for another 30 days. I just got it in there today, the 15th. But everybody who's on my thread, I'm screenshotting you motherfuckers because I'm about to tell you when Jeezy washes this nigga, I'm on your fucking heads. Y'all, there's a reason why Jeezy was on the Short But Shorty clip. Like he sounded special ed. Like I understand that the rest of y'all were introduced to him at Half a Brick. That was a banger. Not taking that away from him. But the people who are arguing with me are just straight up down south mixtape listening guys who swear that his early work is the best work. Anything Gucci before Patrick Davis is his best signature Gucci. I'm like, and that shit is gonna get wiped, mopped the fuck up by anything on 101. Anything on Trap or Die. Cut it the fuck out. The only way Gucci wins this is the same way that T.I. wins this. That it gets away from the trap and they start doing crossover here. And even then, it's going to be kind of tight because G's got Homeboy records with Hov and Ye. But whatever. Gucci has more music with more people that cross over to a lot of, that the white people are listening to that might ring off. But I don't think that's going to happen because this is a battle for Atlanta. This is a battle between two niggas who may tolerate each other now, but you can't tell me they like each other. And they want to get into that gangster shit. And y'all niggas can't even quote no lyrics from Gucci back then. Y'all remember the song, y'all remember the beat, y'all remember where y'all was in the club, the Soul Inn, the world famous Soul Inn in Tuskegee. But y'all can't remember nothing this man used to say. Nothing. Okay? So you can't tell, and lyrics matter, but maybe not in southern rap, trap rap, but whatever. G's gonna watch this, man, and I can't wait to laugh at you motherfuckers afterwards. But yeah, man, that's pretty much the weekend review. That's all I got. Not really trying to hold y'all. I know I've been beating y'all. I gave y'all more content, but a lot of it was 2 and 4 hours long. So I hope this was a change of pace. Please, please, please. I need feedback. Shout out to all of my new subscribers. According to my Anchor metrics, I've got a core audience of around 30. Most of you guys are my age, 30 and up, but a few mid to late 20s and everything. Shout out to my listener from Ireland, my listener from Nigeria, my listener from Germany, and my listener from the UK. I don't know how y'all got here, but please stay, like, share, subscribe, tell everybody else about it. Or if you don't like it, tell me what I can be doing better, or at least give me a chance to say fuck you back. But yeah, until next time, make sure you guys are continuing to control your experience, and make sure you check out the YouTube content, not only just the podcast episodes, but the mini-series on Black gun ownership and what's soon to come, the Black experience in the military. But until then, please be safe, please be safe, please be safe. Oh, wait! I'm remiss because, hold on, how did I skip that? Another one of us, we need to say his name, and that's how I missed it because I was trying to put this shit out of my mind because it's that horrific. But I'm not going to do that. and I probably should have done this earlier, so I didn't have to end on this, but because this shit is the definition of sad. But there was a young man named Quawan Charles, nicknamed Bobby, down in Louisiana, who was lynched. And this shit is deplorable. This is Emmett Till all the fuck over again. What it seems to happen was that he went on to go hang out with a white friend, and with, I guess he was seen in a car with the mother of that dude, and then he vanished for 3 days, and then they ended up finding his body in a sugarcane field, lynched, with his face mutilated. And just so you guys know that his photos are on Instagram. Somebody posted it there, and there's no trigger warning adequate enough for that. But I had to find out on Instagram and Facebook. Like, and shout out to my friend Jasmine, Jet Set Jazz on Instagram. Go follow her. She's a baddie. I don't even know what else to say, man. It's just like you don't even see this boy's name on the news, and they legit chewed his face up and hung him and threw him away like trash. I pray that we find justice for him. I pray that we find justice for his family. And I pray that we hold these people accountable. In the courts or otherwise. I honestly do not give a shit at this point. But it was clear what was happening to him. It's not like he got lost and the animals got to him. Evidently the kid, like me, had to get the gab, was snappy with the jokes, and they mutilated his face and his mouth. That's symbolism right there. So I want answers, I demand answers, and I demand we all say his name. But yeah, sorry to end it on that heavy stuff. Y'all take care of yourselves out here, man, because we are all we got, and these white people get more and more desperate in their actions and their machinations and in their moods. And until we stop it, this shit's gonna keep going. But yeah, y'all have a good one, man. Till next time.